The small research vessel Horizon Explorer drifted slowly through the asteroid belt. Captain Lisa Moore stood on the bridge, her eyes fixed on the view screen. The ship had been mapping this remote sector for 3 weeks, and her crew was eager to finish their mission and return home. "Captain, I'm picking up an unusual energy signature," said Science Officer Alan Grant. His fingers moved quickly across the control panel. "It's coming from behind that large asteroid." Lisa walked over to his station. "What kind of signature?" "Nothing I've ever seen before," Alan replied. "It's pulsing in a regular pattern, almost like a distress signal." Lisa finished his thought. Medical Officer Diane Russell joined them at the console. Her red hair was tied back in a practical ponytail. Could it be another research vessel? Lisa shook her head. "We're the only Earth ship authorized in this sector." She made her decision quickly. Set a course to investigate, but approach with caution. The Horizon Explorer changed direction, engines humming as it navigated around the asteroid. What they found on the other side made them all fall silent. A small pod, unlike any human craft, floated in the darkness. Its surface gleamed with an iridescent material that seemed to shift colors. Parts of it were damaged, with dark burn marks along one side. "Scan for life forms," Lisa ordered. Ellen worked his controls. "There's something alive in there, but the readings are strange." He looked up at the captain. "Whatever it is, its life signs are weak and fading." "We need to get closer," Diane said. "If someone's injured." "That's not human technology," Lisa reminded her. "Protocol says we should quarantine unknown life forms and call for backup." Diane's eyes flashed. "By the time backup arrives, whatever's in there could be dead. I took an oath to preserve life. All life." Lisa hesitated only a moment before nodding. "Alan, prepare the tractor beam. We'll bring it into the cargo bay." An hour later, the 3 officers stood in protective suits before the alien pod in the sealed cargo bay. Up close, they could see that the pod's material was partly transparent. Inside, a small creature lay curled up, barely moving. "It looks like a baby," Diane whispered. The creature was about the size of a human infant, but that's where the similarities ended. Its skin had a faint blue glow, and what looked like tiny crystals covered parts of its body. It had 4 limbs but 3-fingered hands. Its eyes, now fluttering open, were large and silver. "Life signs dropping," Alan warned, checking his scanner. "Whatever it is, it's dying." Diane stepped forward. "I need to get it to medical." "We don't know if it's dangerous," Lisa cautioned, "or contagious." "Look at it, Lisa," Diane said softly. "It's just a baby. A scared, hurt baby, far from home." The creature made a soft trilling sound that somehow conveyed distress even to human ears. Its tiny hand pressed against the inside of the pod. Lisa took a deep breath. "Open it." With careful movements, Alan found the pod's release mechanism. The top section slid open with a soft hiss. The air that escaped smelled like cinnamon and ozone. Diane reached in and gently lifted the alien infant. It weighed almost nothing, like holding a hummingbird. The creature trembled but then curled toward her warmth. "I've got you," she whispered. "You're safe now." As the 3 humans hurried to the medical bay, none of them noticed the brief shimmer in the space outside their ship, the visual distortion of a much larger vessel, watching them while remaining perfectly cloaked. Inside this hidden ship, tall, crystalline beings observed the humans with their infant. One of them made a gesture, and the ship moved closer to the Horizon Explorer, following silently as the humans carried the baby into their vessel. The humans had made a choice that would change the destiny of 2 species forever. In the medical bay of the Horizon Explorer, Diane worked quickly. The alien infant lay on the examination table, its blue glow now fading to a dull pulse. Scanning equipment hummed as it tried to make sense of the creature's biology. "This is incredible," Diane said, studying the readings. "It has 3 hearts, and its skin isn't skin at all. It's some kind of living crystal." Lisa stood nearby, arms crossed. Any idea what hurt it? Some kind of energy weapon, I think, Diane replied. The damage pattern is too precise to be natural. Alan entered the room, carrying a tablet. Earth Command is not happy with us. They're saying we violated at least 6 protocols by bringing an unknown life form aboard. Tell them to file a complaint, Lisa said. I'll face whatever consequences when we get back. The infant alien made a soft trilling sound, reaching a 3-fingered hand toward Diane. As its fingers brushed against her arm, a warm sensation spread through her mind. Feelings of gratitude and fear mixed together. It's telepathic, she whispered. I can feel what it's feeling. Over the next few days, Diane rarely left the medical bay. She fed the infant alien a mixture of nutrients that seemed to strengthen its glow. She played soft music and talked to it for hours, telling stories about Earth and humans. I think we should call it Nova, she told Lisa on the 5th day. Because of how it glows, like a star. The alien, hearing the name, made a sound like tiny bells ringing. I think it likes that, Lisa smiled, watching as Nova floated a few inches above the examination table. Alan spent hours researching in the ship's database. 2 weeks after they found Nova, he called an urgent meeting. I found something, he said, showing them old reports from a deep space mission. 10 years ago, another Earth ship encountered a species called the Lumini. The description matches Nova. Crystalline skin, telepathic abilities. So we can find Nova's people? Diane asked hopefully. Alan's face darkened. That's the problem. According to these reports, the Lumini were being hunted by another species called the Void Hunters. The hunters were capturing Lumini to harvest their crystals and study their telepathic abilities. That's horrible, Lisa said. It gets worse, Alan continued. The Void Hunters attacked the Earth ship just for making contact with the Lumini. They're extremely dangerous. That night, Diane sat with Nova, who had grown noticeably in just 2 weeks. The infant alien now looked more like a toddler, its crystals forming beautiful patterns across its body. I won't let anything happen to you, Diane promised, stroking Nova's head gently. Nova trilled and touched Diane's face. Suddenly, Diane saw images in her mind. Stars, planets, and crystalline beings like Nova, but larger with elaborate crystal formations. She saw them creating art with light and communicating through shared thoughts. Then darkness came, with shadowy ships in pain. Those were your people, Diane said softly when the vision ended, and the Void Hunters who hurt them. Nova made a sad sound, curling against Diane's chest. Lisa entered the medical bay, her face serious. Earth Command finally responded. They want us to hand Nova over to a research facility when we return. No, Diane said firmly. They'll treat Nova like a lab specimen, not a living being. I know, Lisa nodded. That's why I told them the transmission broke up. We have 3 more months of mapping to complete. By then, I'll figure something out. None of them noticed the small device attached to the ship's hull, silently transmitting their location to a Void Hunter vessel several light years away. The hunters had picked up Nova's energy signature and were already changing course to intercept the Horizon Explorer. The first blast hit the Horizon Explorer without warning. The ship shook violently, throwing Lisa to the floor of the bridge. What was that? She shouted, pulling herself up. Alan's fingers flew across the controls. A ship just appeared out of nowhere. They're firing again. The second blast knocked out the main power. Red emergency lights came on as Lisa hit the ship-wide communication system. All crew to emergency stations. Diane, get Nova and head to the escape pods. In the medical bay, Diane grabbed Nova, who had grown to the size of a 5-year-old human child in just 3 months. Nova's crystals flashed with alarm. We have to go, Diane said. Someone bad is here. Nova made an urgent trilling sound and images flashed in Diane's mind. Dark ships, weapons, pain. Void Hunters, Diane whispered. They found us. They ran through the corridors as the ship shook again. Alan met them halfway to the escape pods. "The engines are hit," he said. "We're losing orbit. There's a planet below us. It's our only chance." They reached the escape pod bay just as Captain Lisa arrived from another direction. Her arm was bleeding. "They're boarding us," she said. "We don't have much time." As they rushed to prepare the escape pod, a section of ceiling collapsed. Alan looked up and shouted, "Watch out." He pushed Nova out of the way as metal beams crashed down. One struck him hard, pinning him to the floor. "Alan!" Diane screamed, running to him. Blood spread across Alan's chest. His breathing became shallow. "Get him into the pod," Lisa ordered. Together, they dragged Alan into the escape pod. Nova watched, crystals pulsing with distress. As they strapped in, Nova placed a hand on Alan's wound. A soft blue light spread from Nova's fingers. "What's it doing?" Lisa asked. "I don't know," Diane replied. The escape pod launched, breaking away from the dying research vessel. Through the window, they watched as the Horizon Explorer exploded, torn apart by the Void Hunter weapons. Their pod plummeted toward the planet below. Entry into the atmosphere was rough. Warning lights flashed as the pod's heat shield struggled. "Brace for impact," Lisa shouted. The pod crashed into a forest, skidding through trees before coming to a stop. The door jammed. Lisa kicked it open, and they stumbled out onto alien soil. The planet had two suns low in the sky. Strange trees with purple leaves surrounded them. The air smelled sweet but was breathable. Alan remained unconscious. They carried him to a clearing and laid him down gently. "The medical supplies are limited," Diane said, checking his wound. "I don't know if I can." Nova stepped forward, placing both hands on Alan's chest. The blue glow intensified, spreading across Alan's body. Where it touched his wound, the bleeding slowed. "Nova's healing him," Lisa whispered. For hours, Nova stayed connected to Alan. The alien child's glow dimmed as Alan's color improved. Finally, Nova fell back, exhausted. Alan's eyes fluttered open. "What happened?" "Nova saved you," Diane explained, checking his wound. The gash had closed, leaving only a thin scar. They made camp near the pod, salvaging what supplies they could. As night fell on the alien planet, strange howls echoed from the distance. Lisa kept watch, laser pistol ready. "Do you think the hunters will follow us down?" Diane looked at Nova, who was resting, crystals dim after the healing effort. "They want Nova badly enough to destroy our ship. They'll come." Nova stirred, looking up at the sky with large silver eyes. The alien child raised a hand, and a faint shield of blue energy flickered around their camp for a moment before fading. "Did you see that?" Diane asked. Lisa nodded slowly. "I think our little friend is just getting started." 6 months passed on the planet they named Haven. The humans built a small settlement near a clear blue river. They grew food in a garden, using seeds from the escape pod's emergency supplies. They hunted strange but edible animals in the forest. Nova changed the most during these months. The alien child now stood as tall as a human teenager. Its crystal body had developed complex patterns that shifted with its moods. Nova could speak a few human words now, though it still preferred to communicate through mental images. One morning, Alan sat with Nova by the river. He wrote notes in a journal as Nova made colorful lights dance above the water. "Nova growing fast," the alien said in a musical voice. "Yes, you are," Alan agreed, "faster than human children." "Because of bond," Nova explained. "Lumini grow when bonded." "Bonded to what?" Alan asked. Nova touched Alan's arm, sending him images of Lumini children growing alongside other species on different worlds. "My people, learn from connection," Nova said. "Grow stronger with friends." Diane joined them, carrying a basket of purple fruits. "Nova is teaching me about Lumini medicine. It's amazing what they can do with mental energy alone." Lisa approached from the forest, holding her makeshift spear. "I found something strange about 2 miles east." I think you all should see it." They followed Lisa through the forest until they reached a clearing. In the center stood a tall structure covered in vines. It was made of the same crystal-like material as Nova's skin. Nova trilled with excitement, running forward. "It's Lumini," Alan said. "A building or a ship?" "Outpost," Nova explained, touching the structure. Lights flickered along its surface, long abandoned. They entered through an opening that appeared when Nova touched a specific pattern. Inside, they found a single room with control panels and what looked like sleeping pods along the walls. "Can you make it work?" Lisa asked. Nova placed both hands on the main panel. The entire structure hummed to life, filling with soft blue light. A holographic display appeared, showing star maps. "This is a communication station," Ellen realized, studying the controls. "We might be able to contact Earth. Or find more Lumini," Diane added, watching Nova navigate the ancient technology with growing confidence. "Both," Nova said. "We call help." As they worked to understand the outpost's systems, Nova shared more about Lumini history through mental images. The humans learned that Nova's parents had been scientists, researching ways for Lumini to peacefully coexist with other species. "This why hunters attacked," Nova explained sadly. "They fear connection between species, want Lumini power for themselves." That night, as they camped in the outpost, Diane noticed Nova staring at a particular star map. "Is that your home?" she asked. Nova shook its head. "Home gone. Hunters destroyed." It pointed to the three humans. "You are home now." Ellen managed to activate the outpost's memory banks. Holographic recordings showed adult Lumini working alongside other alien species. One recording showed a pair of Lumini that Nova recognized with joy. "Parents," Nova said. "Scientists. Studied bond between species." "What happened to them?" Lisa asked gently. Nova's light dimmed. "Hunters took them. Long ago." As the humans slept, Nova stayed awake, working on the communication array. By morning, the alien had made remarkable progress. "Almost ready," Nova announced. "Soon call Earth." But as Lisa stepped outside to collect water, she froze. Rising from the forest canopy several miles away was a dark ship with jagged edges. "They found us," she whispered, running back inside. "The Void Hunters are here." Nova's crystals flashed with determination. The alien placed its hands on the outpost walls, and a dome of energy spread outward, surrounding the structure. "I protect," Nova said firmly. "They not take my humans." The Void Hunter ship hovered above the forest. It was 5 times bigger than the Horizon Explorer had been. Its dark metal hull absorbed light rather than reflected it. Smaller scout ships dropped from its belly, circling the energy dome Nova had created. Inside the Lumini outpost, Alan worked frantically at the control panel. "The communication array is almost online," he said, "but the hunters are blocking the signal." Lisa checked her laser pistol. It was their only real weapon. How long can Nova hold that shield? Nova stood with arms outstretched, crystals glowing bright blue with effort. "Not long. They have breaking tools." As if to confirm this, a beam of red energy shot from one of the scout ships, striking the blue dome. The shield rippled but held. "We need a plan," Diane said. "We can't stay here forever." Nova lowered one hand, touching a different control panel. A hidden compartment opened in the floor, revealing what looked like crystal weapons. "Lumini defense," Nova explained. "Use crystal energy. Hurt hunters." Lisa examined one of the crystal spears. It hummed with power when she touched it. "How do they work?" "Think of target. Weapon responds," Nova said. Another blast hit the shield, stronger this time. Nova stumbled but kept the dome intact. "They're landing troops," Alan warned, watching the scanner. "Surrounding us." Through the transparent dome, they could see dark figures moving through the trees. The Void Hunters wore black armor that seemed to swallow light. Their helmets had no visible eyes, just smooth metal where a face should be. Diane, Nova said suddenly. Complete array. Call Earth and Lumini allies. What about you? Diane asked. I fight, Nova said simply. Buy time. Before they could argue, Nova dropped the shield dome and created smaller shields around each human instead. Then the alien ran outside to face the hunters. From the doorway, they watched as Nova confronted the enemy. The hunters fired weapons that shot black energy bolts. Nova dodged most, but one struck its shoulder, cracking the crystals there. Nova retaliated with blasts of blue energy from its hands. 2 hunters fell, but more approached. The array is ready, Ellen called, sending distress signals now. Lisa grabbed 2 crystal spears. I'm going to help Nova. She ran outside, thinking of targets as Nova had instructed. The spears responded, glowing brightly, extending her thoughts into energy. Diane joined Alan at the controls. Any response to our signal? Nothing yet, he said. Wait, I'm getting something from. It can't be. What? Diane asked. It's from a Lumini ship. They were already in this system, tracking Nova. Outside, Lisa fought alongside Nova. The crystal weapons were powerful, sending hunters flying backward with each hit. But there were too many. The main hunter ship descended lower, its weapons charging. A new blast hit the ground near Diane, throwing her against the wall. When she looked up, she saw a hunter standing over her. It grabbed her arm with a metal hand. Human, it spoke in a cold, mechanical voice. You will bring the Lumini child to us. The hunter dragged Diane outside. Nova saw and cried out, trying to reach her but blocked by other hunters. We have your human, the hunter leader announced, holding Diane in front of him as a shield. Surrender, Lumini child, or watch her die. Nova's crystals dimmed with despair. The alien lowered its hands, energy fading. No, Nova, Diane shouted. Don't do it. Must protect, Nova said sadly. Promised. The hunters surrounded Nova, placing a dark metal collar around its neck. Nova's glow dimmed further, weakened by the device. As they dragged both Nova and Diane toward their ship, a bright light appeared in the sky. A ship made of crystal and light, far more beautiful than the hunter vessel, descended through the clouds. The hunter leader looked up. No, how did they find us? Nova's crystals pulsed weakly, but a smile formed on its face. Called family, Nova whispered. Long ago, the Lumini ship descended like a falling star, bathing the forest in bright blue light. It was shaped like a teardrop, its surface covered in the same crystal patterns as Nova's skin. Beams of energy shot from its underside, striking the Void Hunter scout ships. 3 exploded at once. Get down, Lisa shouted, pulling Alan to the ground as debris rained around them. The hunter holding Diane tightened its grip. The child comes with us, it growled, backing toward its ship. Light erupted from the Lumini vessel as a transport beam touched the ground. 3 tall Lumini appeared, their crystal bodies pulsing with power. They were twice Nova's height, with elaborate crystal formations on their heads and shoulders. They carried no visible weapons. The leader of this group stepped forward. Her voice sounded like wind chimes as she spoke. Release the young one and the human. The hunter leader laughed, a harsh mechanical sound. Your kind grows weak, Lumini. You care too much for other species. That is our strength, not weakness. The Lumini leader replied. She raised her hand, and a wave of energy knocked the hunter backward, freeing Diane. Fighting broke out across the clearing. The adult Lumini moved with incredible speed, disabling hunters with precise energy blasts. Lisa and Alan used their crystal spears to protect Diane as she ran back to them. We have to free Nova, Diane said, pointing to where Nova struggled against the collar that dampened its powers. Alan studied the collar from a distance. It looks electronic. Maybe we can overload it. Lisa had an idea. She aimed her crystal spear at the collar and focused her thoughts on shorting out its circuits. The spear responded, sending a narrow beam that struck the collar's locking mechanism. With a spark and a crack, the collar broke apart. Nova's crystals immediately blazed bright. The alien child rose into the air, energy swirling around its body. Instead of attacking, Nova flew straight to the humans, creating a protective bubble around them as a hunter blast struck nearby. "My family came," Nova said, joy evident in its voice. The Lumini leader approached them. "I am Serena, elder of the Northern Stars Cluster. We have been searching for this child since the research vessel was attacked." "Are you Nova's family?" Diane asked. "All Lumini are family," Serena explained. "But this one is special. The child of our greatest scientists, born with rare gifts." The remaining hunters retreated to their main ship, its engines fired, preparing to escape. "They must not flee to attack others," Serena said. She looked at Nova. "Together, little one." Nova nodded, understanding the unspoken plan. The young alien flew up beside Serena, and together they created a massive energy field that surrounded the hunter ship, holding it in place. "The hunters have taken many of our kind," Serena explained to the humans. "We must search their vessel." Lisa stepped forward. "We'll help. They have prisoners on board." "Yes, and we suspect other Lumini children." They boarded the hunter ship through a hole the Lumini warriors had cut in its hull. Inside, they found dark corridors lit only by red emergency lights. The air smelled of metal and chemicals. Following Nova's senses, they located a prison section. In cells lining the walls were creatures of various species, including 5 young Lumini, their crystals dimmed from mistreatment. "Break the locks," Serena ordered. As they freed the prisoners, Alan discovered a laboratory. What he saw inside made him sick. Tables with restraints, tools designed to cut crystal, tanks filled with liquid where pieces of Lumini crystal floated. "They were experimenting on them," he said, horrified, "trying to extract their powers." In the central control room, they found the ship's logs. The Void Hunters had been tracking Lumini for years, capturing them to study the bond they formed with other species. "They fear what they cannot understand," Serena said. "The connection between different kinds of life." Nova approached a secure door at the back of the control room. The young alien placed a hand on it, sensing what was inside. "Parents," Nova whispered, eyes wide with hope and fear. The secure door opened with a hiss. Inside, 2 Lumini adults lay in a special chamber. Their crystal bodies were damaged, with dark patches where pieces had been removed. They were alive but very weak, their light barely visible. "Mother, father." Nova rushed to them, placing hands on both. Blue energy flowed from the young alien into the adults. Diane followed, using her medical knowledge to help. "They've been kept in stasis," she said. "Alive but unconscious, so the hunters could study them." Serena joined them, adding her own healing energy. "These are indeed Nova's parents, our greatest scientists, Lyra and Orion. They discovered how to strengthen the bond between Lumini and other species." Slowly, the adult Lumini began to glow brighter. Nova's mother opened her eyes first. "My child," she whispered, her voice like soft bells. "You have grown so much. Humans saved me," Nova explained proudly. "Taught me. Protected me." The Lumini scientists looked at Lisa, Alan, and Diane with wonder. "You cared for our child," Orion said, "when we could not." "Nova saved us too," Lisa replied. "Many times." With the prisoners freed and the hunter crew captured, they'd returned to the Lumini ship. The rescued aliens were given medical care while the humans marveled at the advanced technology. "Your research vessel was destroyed," Serena told them. "We can take you to Earth, if you wish." The 3 humans looked at each other. After a year on Haven, the thought of returning home filled them with mixed feelings. "What will happen to Nova?" Diane asked. "Nova will help rebuild our society," Serena explained. "The bond formed with you has made this young one exceptionally strong." Such connections are rare and precious. That evening, Nova found the humans on the observation deck, looking at the stars. "You return to Earth soon," Nova said, a hint of sadness in its voice. "Yes," Alan nodded. "We have families there who think we're dead. But we'll miss you," Diane added, touching Nova's arm. "Not goodbye," Nova said firmly. "I protect humans always." Promise made. Nova's parents joined them, much stronger now. Lyra, Nova's mother, carried a small crystal device. "We have been discussing your future," she said, "and we have a proposal." 3 months later, a Lumini ship appeared in Earth's orbit. It caused quite a stir at Space Command when Lisa, Alan, and Diane returned with a delegation of crystalline aliens. They told their story to Earth's leaders, how humans saved a baby alien, and how that alien protected them in return. How the Lumini wanted to form an alliance based on mutual respect and protection. Nova, now looking almost fully grown, stood proudly beside its parents as they signed the first treaty between humans and Lumini. "The Void Hunters will return," Orion warned. "They fear connections between species, but together we are stronger." The treaty included an exchange program where humans and Lumini would learn from each other. Earth gained access to crystal healing technology, while the Lumini learned about human creativity and adaptability. Years passed. Diane became the head of the new Interspecies Medical Research Center. Alan worked with Lumini scientists to develop new technologies. Lisa commanded the first joint human-Lumini defense fleet, and Nova traveled between Earth and the rebuilt Lumini homeworld, serving as a bridge between the species. One day, 20 years after their first meeting, Diane watched Nova teaching a group of human and Lumini children how to share mental images. "Sometimes I can't believe how far we've come," she said to Nova. "Simple choice," Nova replied. "You save child. I protect family." One small act of kindness, Diane smiled. That's all it took. Nova's crystals glowed warm and bright. Not small to me. Everything. That night, Nova stood on a hill outside the research center, looking up at the stars. The young alien who had once been helpless now served as guardian to 2 civilizations. The promise made long ago had been kept, and would continue for generations to come. Because humans had saved a baby alien, and it had protected them for life.